Chapter 7 Fireflies, Symbols of Peace by Daisaku Ikeda. Chisato, a Japanese woman, hears about a project in her son's school to bring back fireflies, which had disappeared many years ago from their town. She then narrates her own encounter with fireflies to her son. At that time, Chisato's family lived in a region in China that was then occupied by the Japanese. While her father worked in Luxian, Chisato, her brother Hiroshi, and their mother lived in Dalian. In 1945, they were on their way to visit her father, when war broke out between Japan and the Soviet Union. With the army approaching, Chisato, Hiroshi, and their mother had to return immediately to Dalian without meeting the father. They were in a freight train which was attacked by enemy planes. Luckily, their coach was in a tunnel and they were unharmed. But they now had to travel to Dalian on foot. After several days, the three of them reached a wide river across which there was no bridge. The mother encouraged the children to cross the river and said, "Dalian's just ahead. If we cross this river, we can get home. Pluck up your courage, Chisato and Hiroshi." They entered the waters, but halfway across the river, Chisato was separated from her mother and brother. Carried away by the current, she hit herself against a rock and was thrown on the riverside. She wandered about looking for her family, but then lost consciousness. When she woke up, she was in hospital and her mother was calling her name. From afar, the mother's gentle voice reached the ears of the sleeping Chisato. "Chisato? Chisato?" Chisato opened her eyes. She saw the worried face of her mother. "Mother, where am I?" "Chisato, you are awake." Joy spread across her mother's face. "You are in a hospital in Dalian. You have made it. How good! How wonderful!" Chisato's mother hugged her tightly. "Dalian? Really?" She couldn't believe it, but the sounds of the bustling city came from outside the window. Chisato had been found lying on the road near Dalian and carried to the hospital. "You were nearly drowned. How hard it must have been. You have done well." Mother was gently smiling in the morning sun. "Mother, I saw fireflies. They were in the forest of life." "Fireflies? The forest of life?" "Yes, the forest of life. Many fireflies were flying and it was a beautiful forest. I talked with the forest," Chisato said, holding her mother's hand. "Chisato, you had a beautiful dream." "Mother, it wasn't a dream. I really saw them." Chisato started to tell her mother about the strange event in the forest. The fireflies had led her through many scenes. A train running along briskly and a young boy being friendly with his stepmother. The forest of life had told her a lovely story. Children all over the world had waved their hands from the night sky. Chisato's mother listened silently and then said with a smile, "Chisato, I think the forest of life that you saw was in your heart." "In my heart?" "Yes, your forest of life was full of love and caring, so the fireflies were attracted by that gentle heart." "Gentle heart?" Chisato remembered the words of the forest of life. If gentle hearts which care for life gather together, no matter where it is, no matter which country it is, people can live peacefully, surrounded by the light of life, like in that forest. "I want to go to the forest of life too," Hiroshi said. "You can. If gentle hearts which protect life gather, every place in the world changes into a forest of life, in which people can live in peace. Chinese people have lives. Russian people have lives. Americans do. Japanese people do too. People of every country have lives. Cows and butterflies have lives. Everything has life. A flower on which a butterfly alights has life. The earth that lets wildflowers bloom has life. The river wide which moistens the earth, The ocean into which the rivers pour have life. Everything has life. Chisato could almost see all those countless lights of life filling the earth. The earth seemed to twinkle, shine and breathe, surrounded by the lights of fireflies. That reminds me, they said there were many fireflies where you were found. Didn't they say that? Mother turned to Hiroshi.
Yes, they said there were lots and lots of them,
Hiroshi said. Chisato was wonderstruck.
Fireflies brought me from the riverside to a place near Dalian. If they hadn't come then, I might have died by the river. Fireflies saved me.
And she tried to explain her mother. A yellow flower petal fluttered into the room through the wide-open window on a fresh breeze.
Look, a flower!
Hiroshi raised both arms excitedly, trying to catch the petal. Chisato and her mother smiled. Eventually, Chisato's family returned to Japan. The journey was very hard. When they arrived in Japan, Chisato thought many times that the forest of life might be a dream. After a while, her father also returned safe and sound. The family was thus reunited and began a new life in Japan. But many Japanese children were separated from their families by the war. They were not as lucky as Chisato's family was in finding one another again. Adapted from Fireflies Glow. If people accept each other with open hearts and minds, there would be harmony and peace among all nations.